Most people over 65 are told the same thing when their memory starts to slip. Do more puzzles, stay social, and we will keep an eye on it. It sounds sensible. It sounds safe. But here is what nobody tells you. Puzzles and patience do not protect your independence when the real problem is a vitamin your body has quietly stopped absorbing. Studies of older adults have found again and again that somewhere between 1 in 10 and 1 in 5 have low or borderline B12 levels. Memory clinics see this every single week. A man is told he has early dementia, and his real problem is a number nobody rechecked in 9 years. So over the next few minutes, I am going to walk you through 5 specific reasons this deficiency gets missed in people your age, counting down from 5 to 1. And I am going to give you the exact sentence to say at your next appointment that a 12-minute visit almost never gets to on its own. The number 1 item on this list is something almost nobody talks about. Stay with me until the end, because that one can change how you approach the next 10 years. Now let me be fair about why this happens, because it is not carelessness. You get about 12 minutes. In those 12 minutes, your doctor has to review your medication list, check your blood pressure, deal with the reason you came in, and finish the notes before the next person is waiting. Screening for a slow nutrient shortage that has been building for 8 years does not fit in that window. So when memory comes up, the fastest available explanation is age. Age is not a diagnosis, and it is certainly not a test result. Let me also be clear about what this channel is. I am not here to sell you a supplement or scare you into a course. This channel exists to give you the science a 12-minute appointment never has time to cover. Everything I described today is something you can bring to your own doctor and ask about by name. Because this is not really about memory. This is about whether you can still drive to the store, manage your own pills, and stay in your own home at 82. A missed vitamin level can take those things from you slowly enough that everyone around you calls it normal aging. Do me one favor before we start. Put your age and your town in the comments, and if you know your last B12 number, put that in too. Now please do not skip this next part. It is the key to everything that follows. B12 has one job that matters more than all the others. It helps your body build and repair myelin, the fatty coating wrapped around every nerve you own. That coating is what lets a signal travel from your brain to your foot in a fraction of a second. When B12 runs low, the coating thins, and signals start arriving late, weak, or not at all. Think of the wiring behind the walls of your house. The copper is fine, but the plastic insulation around it is cracking with age. At first, you get a flickering lamp in one room. Then the lights in the back bedroom stop answering altogether. You do not have a copper problem. You have an insulation problem, and insulation can be rebuilt if you catch it early enough. Forgetting a word is not always the brain. Numb feet are not always the years. Some of this is repairable. If this is already making sense to you, tap the like button so more seniors can find it. That is the only thing that pushes this in front of the people who need it. Number 5 is the acid-blocking medicine sitting in your bathroom cabinet. I mean the daily heartburn pill in the purple or the orange box, the ones with names ending in prazole, and I also mean the plain drop in stomach acid that happens with age even without a pill. The B12 in your food does not arrive free and ready to use. It arrives locked to protein, and stomach acid is the key that unlocks it. Lower the acid, and the key stops turning. Picture a delivery truck that pulls up every single day with the package still nailed inside a wooden crate. The delivery never failed and the food never failed, but nothing ever got out of the crate and into you. Large observational studies have consistently linked long-term use of acid-suppressing medicine with lower B12 levels in older adults. It is well established enough to appear in standard prescribing guidance, and almost nobody hears about it at the pharmacy counter. So here is what to do. If you have taken an acid blocker daily for more than 1 year, Ask for a serum B12 level at your next blood draw. Ask for it by name, because it is not part of a standard yearly panel in most offices. If your level comes back under 400 picograms per milliliter, ask for the second test I name in item number 3. And if your doctor agrees you need supplementation, the usual amount is 1,000 micrograms by mouth, because that dose crosses the gut wall by simple diffusion and needs no stomach acid at all. Take it in the morning with water at the same time each day, beside your coffee cup, so you never have to remember it. Now the safety part, and this one matters. Do not stop your acid blocker. Stopping suddenly can trigger a rebound surge of acid, and if you take it to protect against bleeding or for a serious reflux condition, that decision belongs to your doctor and to nobody else. If you develop new numbness, new tingling in the hands or feet, or new unsteadiness when you stand, that is your signal to call the office this week rather than wait for the next visit. Pair this with one change on your plate. Put 3 to 4 ounces of animal protein with your largest meal, because clams, salmon, sardines, beef, eggs, and dairy are the only meaningful natural sources of B12. It works because more raw material arriving means more gets through, even while your unlocking system runs at half speed. Right now, picture the shelf where you keep your daily pills. Keep item number 1 in the back of your mind while you do, because that is the one that decides how much of the damage can still be undone. But here is the part that surprises people. You can have perfect stomach acid and still lose B12 every single day because of a pill that has nothing to do with your stomach. It is one of the most prescribed medicines on earth, and item number 4 is what it quietly does to your nerves. Number 4 is metformin, the first-line medicine for type 2 diabetes. If you or your spouse take it for diabetes or for prediabetes, this item was written for you. Metformin changes the way the last stretch of your small intestine handles calcium. That matters because the doorway that lets B12 into your bloodstream is a calcium-dependent lock. Less calcium at that doorway means fewer molecules get through. Think of a turnstile at a train station that needs a token to turn. The passengers are lined up and the train is waiting, but with no token, the turnstile simply will not rotate. This is not a fringe finding. A well-known long-term diabetes prevention trial in the United States found clearly lower B12 levels in the metformin group than in the placebo group, and the gap widened with each additional year on the drug. Here is the protocol. If you have taken metformin for 4 years or longer, ask for a B12 level once a year, every year. Tie it to the same visit each year, for example, the appointment nearest your birthday, so it becomes automatic. If your doctor confirms you are low or borderline, the standard approach is 1,000 micrograms of oral B12 daily, taken every morning without a gap. Give it 3 full months before you judge it, because blood levels move in weeks while nerve symptoms move in months. The mistake people make is taking it for 2 weeks, feeling nothing, and quitting. The safety rule here is absolute. Never lower or stop metformin on your own, because uncontrolled blood sugar will damage those same nerves far faster than low B12 ever could. If you take metformin, talk to your doctor before changing anything at all. And if your feet start to feel wrapped in a thin sock that is not there, stop assuming it is only the diabetes, because those 2 causes look identical and only one of them is being treated. Pair the yearly B12 test with the blood work you already give for your diabetes. You are handing over the sample anyway, so it costs you nothing extra in time and nothing extra in needles. It works because the single biggest reason this deficiency goes unfound is that nobody ever ordered the test. Now here is where this gets genuinely frustrating. You can do everything I just said, get the test, and be told your level is normal, while the shortage is still working on your nerves. That is not bad luck, and it is not a careless doctor. And item number 3 explains exactly why it happens. Number 3 is the gray zone on your lab report. The test to know by name is methylmalonic acid, and it is the most useful thing in this entire video. A serum B12 test measures how much is floating in your blood. It does not measure how much is getting inside your cells and doing the work. Most laboratories call anything above 200 picograms per milliliter normal, and that cutoff was set to catch severe anemia, not early nerve trouble. Imagine judging a town's water supply by the level in the reservoir while every pipe into the houses is half blocked. The reservoir reads full, and people are still thirsty. Geriatric specialists have argued for years that neurological symptoms appear in the 200 to 400 range, well inside what your printout calls normal. Major clinical references now describe that band as indeterminate rather than normal. So here is exactly what to ask for. If your B12 lands between 200 and 400 picograms per milliliter and you have memory, balance, or numbness symptoms, ask about methylmalonic acid and homocysteine. When B12 is not working inside your cells, methylmalonic acid piles up, so a high value confirms a real shortage, even while the B12 number looks acceptable. Say it in one sentence in the room. My B12 is in the gray zone and I have symptoms. Can we check methylmalonic acid? Write that sentence on a card tonight and put the card in your wallet. And get the blood drawn before you start any supplement, because 2 weeks of pills can lift a deficient number into the normal range and hide the answer for another year. There is a fair and safe way to have this conversation. You are not demanding a test, you are asking whether one is appropriate for your symptoms, and that phrasing opens far more doors. If your doctor explains why it is not needed in your case, listen, because there are good reasons that can apply. But if you have new numbness or a new balance problem and no cause has been found, that is not a wait-and-see situation. Pair the request with your kidney numbers. Methylmalonic acid can read high when kidney function is reduced, which is common after 75. So ask for it alongside the kidney panel you already get. It works because the two results read together are far easier for your doctor to interpret than either one alone. And keep item number 1 in mind while you do this. The repair in item number 1 only works properly if this test happens first. Now, even a perfect test can be defeated. There is something in millions of kitchen cabinets that erases the earliest warning sign your body gives you. It is sold as healthy, it is added to your bread by law, and item number 2 is what it can hide. Number 2 is high-dose folic acid. That is the synthetic form of folate found in many multivitamins, in most B-complex pills, and added by law to white flour, bread, and breakfast cereal. The first thing low B12 usually does is make your red blood cells grow too large. That swelling shows up on a routine blood count, and for decades it was the early warning light. Folic acid corrects the swelling without correcting the B12. Picture a smoke alarm with the battery pulled out while the fire in the basement keeps burning. The room is quiet, the ceiling looks fine, and the damage underneath does not pause for 1 second. This is a recognized phenomenon in hematology, described in the textbooks as masking. It is one reason a blood count alone is a poor screening tool for B12 in anybody over 60. Here is the protocol. Tonight, pick up your multivitamin bottle and find the folic acid line. If it reads 400 micrograms, that is the ordinary adult amount, and it is not your problem. If it reads 800 or 1,000 micrograms, or if you take a separate folic acid tablet on top of a B complex, that is worth asking about by name. The order matters more than the dose. Check B12 first, then take folate, and never the other way around. The safe version of this is simple. Do not throw anything out. Put every bottle you take, prescription and supplement both, into one bag and bring the bag to your next appointment, because your doctor can read those labels in 90 seconds and you cannot get that wrong. If folic acid was prescribed to you, keep taking it exactly as prescribed. And if your blood count is normal while your feet feel strange, stop treating a normal blood count as an all clear, because that is precisely the situation this item describes. Pair the bottle review with your yearly medication review. Bring both to the same visit, in the same bag, once a year. It works, because your acid blocker, your metformin, and your folic acid are 3 pieces of one puzzle, and nobody has ever seen them lined up side by side. Which brings us to the only question that finally matters. If you find this, how much of what you have already lost can you get back? And how long do you have to act? That is item number 1. It is the one almost nobody talks about, and it is next. Number 1 is the repletion window. That is the stretch of time in which nerve damage from low B12 can still be reversed, and the practical piece is 1,000 micrograms of oral B12 a day, started early and taken without a single gap. Here is why timing decides everything. When B12 runs low, the first thing to suffer is the myelin coating around your nerves. A thin coating is a repair job, and your body is very good at repair jobs once the raw material comes back. But if the shortage runs long enough, the nerve fiber underneath the coating begins to die. A dead fiber is not a repair job, it is a replacement job. And adult nerve fibers in the spinal cord are not replaced. Think of a road worn down through the asphalt to the gravel. Resurface it this year, and it is a road again. Leave it 3 more winters, and water gets underneath. The roadbed collapses, and no amount of asphalt fixes what is under it. That is the difference between a level caught at 68 and the very same level caught at 74. Clinical reviews of B12-related nerve damage report the same pattern over and over. Symptoms present for less than 6 to 12 months, usually improve substantially with treatment. Symptoms present for years often improve only partly, and some do not improve at all. So here is the full protocol, and I want you to hear all of it. First, test before you treat, because a supplement started this week makes next week's result meaningless. Second, if your doctor confirms a shortage, the usual starting point is 1,000 micrograms of oral cyanocobalamin once a day. Cyanocobalamin is the inexpensive form, and it is the form used in most of the research. So do not pay 4 times as much for a fancier name on the label. Third, take it in the morning with water at the same time daily, and stand the bottle next to your coffee so the habit carries itself. Fourth, tablets that dissolve under your tongue are fine, but they are not required, because at 1,000 micrograms enough crosses the gut wall on its own. Fifth, if your shortage comes from pernicious anemia, which is an immune condition that destroys the carrier your stomach makes, your doctor may start you on injections instead, and that call is theirs. Sixth, expect a retest at 3 months and ask for methylmalonic acid on that retest, not the B12 number alone. Seventh, and this is the error that costs people the most, do not stop when you feel better. For nearly everyone with an absorption problem, this becomes a permanent daily habit, because the absorption problem itself does not go away. Now the safety layer. B12 has no known toxic level, and your kidneys clear whatever you do not use, which makes it one of the safest things in the vitamin aisle. But safe does not mean casual. If you take any medicine at all, and especially metformin or an acid blocker, talk to your doctor before changing anything about your routine. Do not use B12 to treat symptoms nobody has explained yet, because numbness, unsteadiness, and memory change have other causes that need finding. Correcting B12 does not treat Alzheimer's disease, so if that has been properly diagnosed, this is an addition and never a replacement. And if your walking gets worse, your hands get clumsier, or your confusion deepens while you are being treated, call the office that day rather than wait for the next appointment. Pair the daily tablet with a weekly balance check, because this is where you will actually watch it work. Stand behind a kitchen chair with both hands on the back of it, place one foot directly in front of the other, and hold for 10 seconds. Do it every Sunday, and write the number of seconds on your calendar and never let go of the chair. It works because the nerves in your feet report your position back to your brain, and as the coding rebuilds, that report gets clearer, so steadier seconds on the calendar is the proof arriving before your memory even notices. So here's the thing almost nobody talks about. We treat memory loss as a verdict and a vitamin level as a formality, when in a meaningful number of people over 65, it is the other way around. You cannot get back a decade you spent waiting, but you can still use a window that is open today. The window is not decided by your age. It is decided by the date somebody finally ran the test. Memory is not always memory. Numbness is not always the years. Some of this is repairable. Consider a typical case of the kind documented in the geriatric literature. A 74-year-old woman is brought in by her daughter for a memory evaluation. She had been losing her train of thought mid-sentence, missing 2 payments, and holding the stair rail with both hands on the way down. She had taken an acid blocker every morning for 9 years, and her last blood count was called normal. Her serum B12 came back at 260 picograms per milliliter, which the report labeled normal. Her methylmalonic acid was clearly elevated, which meant the shortage was real at the level of the cells. She was started on 1,000 micrograms of oral B12 every morning. The acid blocker was not stopped, it was reviewed, and her own doctor made that decision. She was retested at 3 months, and every Sunday she timed a 10-second hold behind her kitchen chair. At 6 weeks, the tingling in her feet had faded enough that she stopped noticing it in the mornings. At 3 months, her methylmalonic acid had normalized, and her balance hold had gone from 4 seconds to 18. Her word finding improved, though not completely, and that partial result is exactly what the timing pattern predicts. 9 quiet years do not undo themselves in 90 days, and the earlier she had been tested, the more of it would have come back. So let us make this finishable. Here are 5 steps, and the first one takes about 4 minutes tonight. Tonight, gather every bottle you take, prescription and supplement both, into one bag by the door. 1 bag, 1 trip, and it is the highest value 4 minutes in this entire video. This week, write 1 sentence on a card for your wallet. My B12 is in the gray zone and I have symptoms. Can we check methylmalonic acid? At your next appointment, ask for 2 numbers by name. A serum B12, and if it lands between 200 and 400, a methylmalonic acid. Starting this Sunday, do the 10-second balance hold behind a kitchen chair once a week and write the seconds on your calendar. Both hands stay on the chair the whole time. Sharp pain or dizziness means stop, not push through. And every day, put 3 to 4 ounces of animal protein on your largest plate, because that is where the natural B12 lives. 3 to 4 ounces is about the size of your own palm, so you never need a scale. Think of someone in your life who has been told their memory is simply their age. A parent, a neighbor, a husband who quietly stopped driving at night and will not say why. Send them this video, because if you are the son or the daughter who asks the question out loud in that room, you may be the reason the test finally gets ordered. Tell me in the comments which of these you are starting tonight. Your answers decide exactly what I cover next. And if you want the science a 12-minute appointment never has time to cover, subscribe to this channel. That is the whole mission here, one honest explanation at a time. This video is education, not a diagnosis. Your own doctor knows your history, so bring this list to your next appointment. I'm Warren Hayes. Don't forget to subscribe and live longer.